Ever heard of a speedrunning marathon that, well, kind of started in someone's basement and then somehow it turned into something legendary?
Legendary is one way to put it.
It's VPSQ. Vidya played somewhat quickly. And today, we're diving in deep.
Buckle up.
So speedrunning, for anyone who maybe hasn't stumbled into that corner of the internet yet,
You're missing out.
it's basically you take a game, any game, and you try to finish it as fast as humanly possible.
Or, inhumanly possible with some of the tricks these runners pull off. It's mind-blowing, honestly.
Right. It's all about finding glitches, exploiting mechanics, and basically breaking the game in ways the developers never even imagined.
Which is where VPSQ comes in.
Yeah.
It takes that whole speedrunning thing and injects it with this, raw, almost mythical energy.
Yeah. Like, imagine the Wild West, but instead of cowboys and saloons, it's gamers fueled by caffeine and probably questionable sleep schedules.
Don't forget the inside jokes. You need a whole dictionary just to understand what they're talking about half the time.
And it all started, like I said, in a basement. Ohio, 2019, VPSQ1, the Genesis.
A dozen people crammed into this tiny basement, cheering each other on. They even had a single camera set up to stream the whole thing on Twitch.
Twitch, back when it was still, finding its footing,
Mm.
which is kind of fitting when you think about it.
Totally. It was the early days of streaming, so even with only a handful of people watching, they were already thinking ahead, building a community.
Which is amazing considering how much of those early streams are, well, gone.
Lost to time, digital ghost stories waiting to be unearthed.
Seriously, like that legendary Mario Bros. 3 run from VPSQ1. Poof! Vanished.
Gone, but not forgotten, as they say.
Thankfully, some things did survive.
Oh, yeah. Thankfully, we have records. We even have the very first games with James. Back then, it was just this, quirky little segment.
And now.
It's a VPSQ staple. Who knew that something so off the cuff would become a tradition?
That's VPSQ for you. And speaking of VPSQ staples, we got to talk about Metroid Prime at VPSQ1.
Oh, man, that run.
It wasn't just a speed run, it was like art.
It showed everyone what VPSQ could be. The skill, the strategy, the sheer determination.
And let's not forget the, how do I put this, Where in Russia marathon.
That was, yeah. I'm still not sure what happened during those wee hours of the morning, but it cemented VPSQ's reputation for,
Controlled chaos.
Sure, let's go with that.
And listen, we could spend all day talking about those early VPSQ1 runs, L.A. Night Beats, Dark Souls with a randomizer, even a little Metal Gear, Revengeance, thrown in for good measure.
Metal Gear, Revengeance. Now that's a name I haven't heard in a while. Good times.
But the point is, VPSQ1, it was just the beginning.
The foundation for something truly special.
Fast forward to June 2020, VPSQ2, the living room years.
They moved out of the basement, upgraded to slightly more spacious accommodations.
A sign of things to come, maybe.
Definitely. Plus, they started using Discord to organize things, which, for VPSQ was a big step.
Baby steps towards world domination.
You know it.
Although, speaking of things lost to time, we don't have any VODs from VPSQ2.
A travesty.
It's like a lost season of your favorite show, shrouded in mystery.
A real shame, because VPSQ2 was the start of something special. The Super Smash Bros. Brawl Subspace Emissary tradition. Every year, they'd break out the game, and it would get
Intense.
let's just say friendships were tested. In a good way. Mostly.
All in good fun, right?
Yeah.
But VTSQ wouldn't be VPSQ without a healthy dose of the unexpected.
Oh, absolutely.
Which brings us to the Ableton contest.
This was a music competition cut tragically short.
By a backyard fire.
Only at VPSQ. It was like something out of a movie. 1 minute, they're laying down sick beats the next.
Smoke and sirens.
Luckily, everyone was okay.
Can't stop the VPSQ spirit. But amidst all the chaos, there were still moments of pure skill.
Oh, for sure.
Like the Code Vein boss rush. That runner, they were a machine.
And Pharaoh Mastava percent. Don't even get me started on the great regional beer debate of 2020.
From speedrunning to beer snobbery, who knew? And then...
Wait, are we talking about the Lethal RPG War 2 run?
the one and only. My notes just say, holy shit.
Yeah, that about covers it.
It's moments like those that make VPSQ legendary.
Speaking of legendary, VPSQ 2 was also the first territory war.
Ah, yes. The marathon event to end all marathon events. Single-player campaign, followed by a no-holds-barred multiplayer showdown.
Things got creative.
Yeah.
Let's just say there might have been a few rule interpretations.
Hey, it's all about pushing boundaries, right?
That's the VPSQ way.
And let's not forget the other highlights from VPSQ2. Super Mario Bros., with custom levels so already chaotic.
Of course.
An MS Paint showdown that got surprisingly intense, and because one just isn't enough, another Dark Souls randomizer.
They were just getting warmed up.
Because for VPSQ3, they decided to take the show on the road.
Next stop, San Francisco.
San Francisco, November 2021. VPSQ hits the big city.
They even tried to be more organized this time.
Tried being the operative word.
Hey, Discord was a big step. They used it for, like, stream schedules and stuff. It was almost professional.
Almost.
Well, it was shorter, for sure. Fewer runs overall compared to VPSQ2.
But did it lack those, classic VPSQ moments?
Not a chance. VPSQ3 was a lean, mean, meme-making machine.
Okay, then tell me more. What were some of the highlights? Give me the good stuff.
All right. For starters, we had Mario Odyssey, and let me tell you, Sudik, they absolutely demolished that game.
Demolished.
Like, it wasn't even fair. World records were broken that day, my friend.
I can only imagine the cheers, the gasps, the utter disbelief.
And then there was Killing Floor. And not just any Killing Floor. This was knife only.
Hold on. They played through Killing Floor using only a knife.
You heard that right.
Talk about dedication.
Oh, and get this. After they conquered Killing Floor with just a knife, this absolute madman decided to tackle Antichamber.
Antichamber. Now, that's a game designed to melt your brain.
Tell me about it. It's like trying to navigate a maze built by MC Escher while tripping on those,
Yeah, let's not go there. But you know what they say about the best laid plans.
especially at VPSQ. Which reminds me, Metroid Prime 2 at VPSQ 3.
Oh no, this doesn't sound good.
Let's just say, sometimes even the best runners hit a snag. Or in this case, a game-breaking bug.
Oof. That's rough. But hey, that's the beauty of live events, right? Anything can happen.
Exactly.
So VPSQ3, it wasn't just about single-player showdowns, though.
Oh, heck no. They had the Least Coast Showdown, which, I gotta be honest, I'm still not entirely sure what the rules were.
Sounds about right.
They had an FTL invitational that had everyone on the edge of their seats.
Nail-biting.
And of course, they had to throw in a little Minecraft any percent. Because why not?
One in Rome, or San Francisco, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of things that make you go, why not? Flash Trash with James makes its triumphant return.
A true blast from the past. They dove headfirst into those classic Flash games, the ones we all wasted hours on back in the day.
Memories.
Good and bad. And for some reason, they thought it'd be hilarious to subject everyone to a Resident Evil marathon.
According to my notes, it was hilarious.
Oh, it was.
But VPSQ3 was just a taste of what was to come. Because next up, we're heading to the Pacific Northwest.
VPSQ4, baby. Seattle, here we come.
Seattle, the Emerald City, home of, well, VPSQ4.
July 2022, they even made a trailer for it.
A trailer, like a movie trailer.
Yeah, epic music, dramatic cuts, the whole shebang. VPSQ was leveling up.
Wow. Talk about dedication. But it wasn't just the trailer, right? Something felt different about VPSQ4. Bigger, somehow.
They went all out for this one. More games, more runners, more, well, everything. Plus, they started incorporating fun runs into the mix, not just pure speedrunning anymore.
So like what? Party games?
Kind of. Think Mario Kart races, Worms tournaments, that kind of thing. It was a good way to break up the tension and, have some laughs.
Because when you think about it, VPSQ is really about community.
Exactly. Bringing people together through shared love of gaming, camaraderie, and
sleep deprivation.
a little, but hey, that's how you bond. Over pixelated explosions and last-minute clutch victories.
You're not wrong. But speaking of clutch victories, VPSQ5. Cincinnati, April 2023. It was a return to a slightly smaller, more intimate setting.
Yeah. Back to basics, kind of. Cincinnati was all about Marlboros, inside jokes, and that one guy who almost got banned from Twitch for, well, let's just say it involved a banana costume and leave it at that.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
But VPSQ wouldn't be VPSQ without a little bit of controversy, right?
Exactly. Keeps things interesting.
So what bizarre and wonderful things did they subject themselves to in Cincinnati?
Well, they had to bring back It Came From Itch, Volume 2 this time.
They couldn't resist, could they? The siren song of obscure indie games is just too strong.
Too true. We had dual robots wreaking havoc in one game, then some surprisingly wholesome camaraderie in another with Land of Might.
Only at VPSQ. But let's talk about those Flash speedruns, especially this game called Lethal RPG War 1. My notes have it circled multiple times with a little heart drawn next to it.
Oh, Lethal RPG War 1, yeah. That was special. They really got into that one. Someone even declared it the best game ever made, for real.
High praise.
It's funny, though. the best game ever title at VPSQ. It's like a badge of honor that gets passed around every year.
It's the spirit of the moment, right? The
Yeah.
shared experience, the adrenaline.
Exactly. It's about celebrating the games that maybe don't always get the recognition they deserve.
And sometimes those games involve dominoes, apparently.
Ah, yes. No one can stop Mr. Domino. A true test of patience, strategy, and,
Sanity.
let's just say it was a wild ride, full of unexpected twists, turns, and toppling dominoes.
I can only imagine. But we can't forget about the return of a VPSQ classic territory war. Although I hear there might have been a slight mishap this time around.
Slight mishap might be an understatement. Let's just say a misplaced grenade led to a very dramatic turn of events.
Whoops. That's live gaming for you.
Yep, never a dull moment.
And speaking of unforgettable moments, the Kenshi Millionaire Race, where they tried to make a fortune and, wait for it, cats.
Ambitious, right.
Did they succeed? Did the internet witness the rise of a feline-powered empire?
Sadly, no. The dream of becoming a cat-powered millionaire remains elusive. Even in the virtual world, they resorted to weed farming to fund their cat empire.
Weed farming. Of course. Why not?
Desperate times call for desperate measures. Sadly, even virtual cannabis has its limits.
A cautionary tale for us all. But VPSQ5. It wasn't all about dashed dreams and digital drug empires. It was about setting the stage for something even bigger, something grander. The VPSQ renaissance, if you will.
And what better place to usher in a new era than the city where it all began for VPSQ3 San Francisco, March 2024. VPSQ6.
It was a 2-day extravaganza of gaming, camaraderie, and, well, a few questionable decisions along the way.
It wouldn't be VPSQ without them, but we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Right. Back to the beginning. VPSQ6. 2 days, countless games, and a whole lot of hype. What better way to kick things off than with Bugsnax?
Ugh, Bugsnax, the game that took the internet by storm with its unique premise. And Ravidan, they didn't just speedrun it, they dominated. Leaderboards were shaken, records were broken. It was a sight to behold.
A true master at work. But if we're talking entertainment, pure unadulterated entertainment, I have to hear more about this Pokemon Randomizer Nuzlocke run.
Oh man, that was a wild one. Imagine a Nuzlocke run, but with every encounter randomized, so you could end up facing like a level 70 Garchomp right out of the gate.
Brutal.
It was a chaotic masterpiece, full of close calls, unexpected victories, and more than a few rage quits.
And then there's Juice Galaxy. The notes I have here simply say what?
Juice Galaxy. Even the name sounds like a fever dream. Look, it involved something, I'm not sure what, but it was colorful, confusing, and surprisingly compelling.
I'll take your word for it. I feel like Juice Galaxy deserves its own deep dive someday.
Oh, absolutely. But for now, let's move on to something a little less existentially confusing.
A palate cleanser, if you will. How about those blind runs?
Ah, yes. The blind runs were a VPSQ6 highlight for sure. A whole bunch of games, Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, WarioWare, even little Tulip thrown in for good measure. But the catch is, the players had never played these games before.
Talk about pressure, going in completely blind.
It was amazing to watch. Pure instinct, quick thinking, and a whole lot of button mashing. They even had a tie. Can you believe it?
A tie? In a speedrun? That's got to be some kind of VPSQ record.
Maybe, although I think the record for one of the WarioWare runs might be lost to time.
Another VPSQ mystery. But hey, that's part of the charm, right? The undocumented moments, the whispers of legends.
Exactly. Keeps the spirit of VPSQ alive.
Speaking of keeping things alive, it came from Flashpoint. The return.
They just can't get enough of those bizarre Flash games.
This time we had seagulls, some very questionable business practices, and for some reason, a lot of forced feeding.
Don't ask.
I'm not even going to try. Moving on. We have to talk about Sims 4 Baby Percent.
Oh boy. Sims 4 Baby Percent. Where do we even begin?
From what I gathered, it involved a runner named Vivala and their own, shall we say, unique interpretation of the rules.
Unique is one way to put it. Let's just say the game developers probably didn't envision this particular strategy.
But hey, it wouldn't be VPSQ if everyone played by the rules, right?
Right. Where's the fun in that?
Exactly. And of course, what would a VPSQ be without a little flash trash?
Not travesty, that's what it would be. They brought back all the classics, all the weirdest, most obscure Flash games they could find. It was beautiful.
And then it came from itch, makes its triumphant return, because one dose of bizarre indie games just isn't enough.
Nope. This time we were treated to everything from 9/11 reenactments to claw machine races, and for some reason a concerning amount of wiener dogs.
You know, I'm starting to think it came from itch as a reflection of our collective subconscious. Or maybe we've all just been staring at screens for too long.
Probably a bit of both. But hey, all good things must come to an end, and for VPSQ6, that end came in the form of Dark Souls Depraved.
A fitting end, I'd say.
Brutal, unforgiving, and just a little bit soul-crushing. Just like VPSQ itself. In the best way possible.
Exactly. But, in the interest of fairness, we should probably mention Hot Tea.
Yeah.
It was there.
It happened.
Not every game can be a winner.
Right. That's the beauty of VPSQ. It's not about the wins, the losses, or even the games themselves. It's about the community, the shared experience, the sheer joy of pushing boundaries and seeing what's possible.
It's about those moments that make you laugh, make you scream, and make you question your sanity.
It's about the memories you make along the way. And trust me, with VPSQ, there are a lot of memories.
More than we could ever fit into one deep dive.
No, absolutely. This is just scratching the surface.
Which is kind of terrifying when you think about it.
Sure.
If this is what we know about VPSQ, what else is out there?
What other legendary runs, inside jokes, and near-disaster moments are waiting to be unearthed?
It's a tantalizing thought, isn't it? Like a digital treasure map, just waiting to be deciphered.
Who knows what secrets are hidden within the annals of VPSQ history?
I guess that's a mystery for another deep dive. Until next time.